This story took place a few years ago in my mother's apartment on Halloween night. I was home alone wondering where my family was this late at night. I was laying in bed and glanced out the window. It was pretty dark outside. I would say it was around 8 to 11 at night. I then decided to go to sleep. I was having a weird dream, and for some strange reason, part of me decided to wake up. And as I opened my eyes, something didn't feel right. Now I know about sleep paralysis. I've been through this many times. Can't move, can't walk, not sure whether you're still awake or asleep. But this was completely different. The atmosphere just didn't feel right. It felt heavy. I heard something, but I wasn't sure what it was since I was just waking up. So I figured either my mother came home or I dropped something. As I was trying to sit up, I felt a sudden grip, a tight grip, like a predator catching its prey. Now I'm thinking it's another sleep paralysis scenario. But then I felt a heavy frame over me, like a body pressed against me, trying to hold me down. Suddenly there was a pain in my stomach, like something was putting their knee in my stomach to keep me pinned down. More pressure was put into my stomach as I was trying to move, to toss to the other side and curl up. The pain was in one spot, not all over, just a spot where a knee would be. Suddenly I hear something breathing. I don't feel the breath, but I can hear it. Then I felt a hand on my face, like someone grabbed my jaw and slowly made my head turn to its side. I'm laying there moving my arms slowly, but unable to fully function. Then this happened. There were whispers in my ear, talking, but at a fast pace. I couldn't quite understand what it was saying, but I understood certain words being said. This time I felt actual breath in my ear. My body still felt heavy from whatever was on me, and my mobility was completely shot. All I could do was breathe and feel the pain getting more intense. Within the whispers, all I could hear were demands. It was like listening to a spirit box. You could only hear certain words coming out of all of the noise you were hearing. I don't remember all the words, but they were pills, take, bathroom, and a few other words that were close to that category. I'm not sure how long the whispers went on for since I was trying to figure out what, who, and why. I kept squirming in my bed as the whispers continued. Finally, I felt the heaviness disappear off me, and I flung up to sit up with a heavy pain and held my stomach where I felt the pressure. I immediately rolled off the bed and was wondering what the hell just happened. The atmosphere was back to normal. There was no one else in the room, but I felt like I had to look in the direction where my closet was. So I looked, and the closet door was slightly open, and I could see a dark figure staring into my direction, and in an instant it vanished, and I never saw it again.
This took place a while ago. I was 13 and my family had just moved to a new town. A new friend of mine from school and I made plans to go trick-or-treating together. At the time, I remember thinking I was a bit too old to still be trick-or-treating, but who doesn't like free candy? My friend and I figured we still had 1 year of trick-or-treating left in us. Because we were 13 and lived in a fairly safe neighborhood, my parents thought it was fine for us to trick-or-treating together without adult supervision. Everything was going great and we were having fun, getting some solid candy. Then we rang on one guy's doorbell. The porch light was on and there was a pumpkin or two, so we figured the people in the house were likely to be handing out candy. A middle-aged man opened the door. At first, I was glad because he was dressed in costume and happy to see my friend and me. So I felt we were in for some top-tier candy. I don't remember what candy he handed out, but I do remember what happened next. He asked us to enter his house. which is weird, but we were 13, so we didn't really think of anything. Then he asked if he could take our photo. He said he will always like to take photos of the kids every Halloween because he loved seeing the costumes. On one of his walls were a bunch of pictures of different random, unrelated children in Halloween costumes. At this point, even being a dumb 13-year-old, I was starting to get kind of creeped out. But I figured it was best not to upset the man and let him take the picture, then we can leave. So he snapped the photo for us, and then he pulls out a clipboard with a sheet of paper on it with a bunch of names written in childish handwriting. He says he likes the kids whose pics he snaps to sign their names so he can know who they are. At this point, we were very creeped out. We should have just ran away, but we were too conditioned not to be rude. I decided to sign a fake name. He looked at the paper, looked back at me, then down at the paper. Then he repeated the fake name I'd given and nodded. Luckily, after that, he didn't do anything and we were free to leave, but it definitely creeped us both out. At the time, I thought he was just an eccentric guy, but as an adult, looking back on the story, it seems more sinister. I'm so glad nothing bad happened to us, and hope nothing bad happened to other kids. Halloween with all these costume kids trick-or-treating in the dark and minimal parental supervision could be a great opportunity for predators to get kids alone in their homes. With no one knowing the kids' whereabouts, please stay safe there and happy Halloween.
Excuse me, Miss...
Hobbs has brought the lantern, Edward. Lord Burleigh will have to excuse us.
I had forgot. This is the day, and no doubt the time, for paying a visit to the family crypt, eh? Your father had a fear of being buried alive.